What's going on, Buff Nation? With the target on the back of Coach Prime and the Colorado Buffaloes seemingly increasing as we go through each week, it's been a pretty interesting week for them. You know, a lot of publicity has been going out about the Athletic article where they talked about some of the players and their experience at Colorado. We talked about that in another video. We'll make sure to link that at the end of this one if you want to go back and see where we discussed that. But there's been a few more experts weighing in on Colorado since the spring game and some of the latest acquisitions that kind of shocked your boy. And there was one in particular, and we'll talk about him a little bit later, that seems to go complete contrarian when it comes to what the public opinion is right now about Coach Prime. And so let's dive into, first and foremost, the Athletic article a little bit and the latest set of pickups and why this particular media personality statements really shocked me. So let's jump in it here on the prime time for college football. And so first off, you know, Colorado has picked up a lot of players over the weekend. I think there was about 4 different commitments, especially out of the transfer portal, which is huge. And we look at what Colorado's done portal wise. Colorado's brought in about 37 transfers over since, you know, the portal opened back in December. That's a huge number. And with that, you had about 44 players go out of the portal. And so, you know, numbers wise, it hasn't balanced fully. But at the same time, it appears that with the players coming in over the summer for Colorado from the recruiting class, the Buffs may have gotten themselves in a little bit of a better position because based upon the ratings, I'm looking at On3 as well as 247. You know, On3 has Colorado bringing in 6 4-stars and only losing 1, and then bringing in 28 3-stars and losing 40 3-stars. So it appears that evaluation wise, the Buffs are bringing in better talent based upon what they're trying to do for in the Big 12 this coming season, which of course that's a major plus. 247 On3 has them listed as the number 1 transfer team right now. 247 has them listed at about 7 with about 8 4-stars coming in and 2 4-stars going out. And so overall, it appears the talent that's being brought in is better. They're bringing in better players and players that will fit better to what they're doing. And on top of that, when that Athletic article came out, it sounded more so like Coach Prime and the staff were really tough on these kids. And I don't know where the disrespect came out of it, but at the same time, you saw where Prime kind of responded. The media went after him. You saw fans piling on, talking about him and his kids. And I mentioned before in that other video how Shador, to me, was just defending Pops, right? He was defending the family name in, you know, what he felt like was some slander. While at the same time, the person that made the statements, he was just basically telling the Athletic his experience. And I said, that's fair as well. He deserves to be able to voice kind of his experience in the situation. It's not something that always necessarily means it's negative. And I think that Prime understood that. You know, Prime has done a really good job of thanking the kids that have come. You know, I've seen a lot of the kids, even after they hit the portal, they thank him and he thanks them back and thanks their parents and thanks their dads and moms and all of that. And so to me, it feels like a lot of the movement has been amicable. There has been some, of course, disgruntled one here and there because this doesn't work out. But Prime has pointed out in some conversations that he's done in some interviews that he's brought in 5 of his 7 position coaches. He's got some NFL experience. He's brought in a lot of NFL dudes to really help with molding these players, guys that have played at the highest level, and to be able to build them up probably fast. It kind of helps fast track it, right? And so, again, we've talked about how we wonder if his system works. And so Josh Pate was talking about it today on his show. His statement was interesting or whatnot. And he's been discussing how the question is, does the Prime way work? Is it going to work now? And honestly, I don't know. There's a lot of questions behind that because this is very much unprecedented, and we're just waiting to see if it closes out the way that he wants. Does this lead to W's? Does this lead to wins? And in the mind of Prime, it does. You know, you need to have good players in order to win, and I think that that's what he's going after and the staff is going after. But there was another one that jumped out, and this is what shocked me because it wasn't negative. Like, Pate wasn't really negative, but he kind of talked about how the Athletic article made sense and how it really was just players talking about their experience. Can't argue that. But there was another one. Barrett Solly, he's over at Outkick, And he put out a video not too long ago. This is him on the screen. And he talked about, in this video, and I have the link in the description below, he asked the question about Prime and about Colorado and what they're doing. Will it work? Just like everybody's asking. But I love his caveats in there. He pointed out a couple of things. One, he talked about the players that Colorado has been bringing in the portal. And the big thing he pointed out is it appears that Coach Prime and staff get it. They understand the assignment. They get what you need to do to win and be successful long term. And so he feels like that's a good movement for them. That's a good direction for them to go, which is completely shocking for me because it's the complete contrarian to what everybody else has been saying about Prime this entire time. Most people have been super negative about this situation, and this person, Barrett, has not been negative, right? Going from him, you dive next into him talking about the coaching staff. He pointed out how Prime was bringing in these NFL coaches, as we talked about before. He's bringing in guys that will help them build a team that's going to be successful not only today, but have sustainable success. NFL minds. He's getting it. Prime is getting it. Now, I have the question about what Prime is doing in the recruiting trail because the 25 class is still a little slim, but I think that that's going to shore itself up over time. It's not something that needs to be rushed into. All he has to do is start making visits and really getting out there and getting these players in, but they'll have some recruiting events coming in the summer. And when those events go down, there's a good chance that he'll be able to win some kids over because overall, there were articles written, let's say over here at Buffalo's Wire, the USA Today team, they went through and talked about some of the players' experience that they had at these events. And overall, it's been pretty positive. Like the kids enjoy being around Prime. They enjoy being at campus. They enjoyed the spring game. There wasn't a lot of negativity like we were getting from a lot of the fans. Now, granted, a lot of these kids, they give you a lot of your traditional canned answers and how they feel about stuff. They're not going to really rock the boat, I guess you could say, right? But it's still a good thing that they had a good experience and they talked about, their potential view of, coming to Colorado, seeing themselves there, had a great time, got their pictures in, showed some excitement. Some put out videos, right? You got to see that. You got to see a connection with Coach Prime and that staff and the opportunity for them to be able to play at Colorado. So I liked how Barrett kind of twisted things around and pointed out all of the good acquisitions and hirings and how it really does look like Prime and staff gets it. To me, that's something that we here on the Primetime of College Football recognize. We think he get it. The question is, can his method be successful? And we don't have an actual answer yet, except for the fact that the team went from 1 win to 4 wins in his first year. That's almost, honestly, witness enough that the plan is working. Now, can this plan get him to 6 wins into a bowl game? Can it get him to 10 wins? And it appears this is going to be a slow grind, which is probably the best thing for them. Except for I wonder what does it look like after Shedeur is gone. So please jump in the comments, join the conversation. Tell us what you think. Do you think that Coach Prime gets it? Do you see them going the right direction with this program? We would love to hear from you all. Also, the video I talked about with the Athletic article is here on the screen right now. Feel free to check it out. We've got some other videos and we'll be putting out a lot of info. Going to talk about some of these transfers that recently came in so y'all can understand some of the players and who's here and who's not. That way, it's not as confusing as we prepare for the summertime and going into fall camp. Besides that, y'all have a good day. We'll talk soon.